What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? Welcome to the latest and newest edition of the Total Sports on Zone. I am the big O with the big mouth, Oscar, coming at you. And I'm apologizing for yesterday not having a stream. Had a few technical difficulties I had to attend to. But I'm back at you. I'm back at it and I'm back at you. Talking my take in the going zone in the sports world, particularly NFL and college football. And on today's show, we're gonna review last night's Ravens Lions game, and I'm gonna give you my ins and outs and what's going on with the Ravens and their defense. Pretty bad, pretty bad. It's not a defense you would want for a Super Bowl team. At least that's what I'm saying. They look. The Lions took it to them, especially in the running game. We'll get to that in a minute. I'll also give you my top five teams in the NFL after week three. There's some changes. There's definitely going to be some changes. And which 0-3 teams realistically have a chance to make a run at the playoffs? We're going to get into that a little bit later. First, let's go over last week's picks. I was supposed to do this yesterday, but like I said, I had technical difficulties. So last week, I went 7-7. There was some upsets that I didn't see coming. The Browns. That's why I'm wearing this hat. I'm wearing this hat today. Buckeyes, Browns. I usually don't wear any Browns gear if they lose, because let's face it, they ain't supposed to win too many games, right? But they pulled off the upset. I don't care what anybody say. They pulled off the upset of the day, picking off the Green Bay Packers, scoring 13 points in the last 3.5 minutes of the game. I didn't. I still don't know how they did it, but I'm proud of them. They are at least not going to go 0-17. That being said, let's get into last night's game. Lions, they're the truth. You can't put it any more or any less than that. They went into Baltimore and they took care of business. Simple as that. They went into Baltimore and they took care of business, winning the game 38-30. The game was back and forth for 3 quarters. It was back and forth. It could have been anybody's game. And then the Ravens stopped playing defense. They just simply stopped playing defense. They haven't been playing defense all the whole game because it was back and forth and back and forth. But in the fourth quarter, the Lions said, "We've had enough of this," and they just ran all over the Ravens to a point to where I've never seen a Ravens team get run over like that at all since they became the Ravens. I've never seen the Ravens get run over like that, especially at home. I mean, it was like, did they want to tackle somebody? It's like they didn't feel like they were playing like they didn't feel like tackling in the fourth quarter. But you gotta stop them, and they didn't want to do that. I'm looking at the numbers right here, and the Lions, Montgomery had 151 yards on 12 rushes with 2 touchdowns. It's like they didn't even want to stop him. And don't forget about Gibbs. He had 67 yards and 2 touchdowns. That was the game right there. And the drives that the Lions had, they had 5 drives, all over 60 yards. They had 2 drives that were 90 plus, a 96-yard and a 98-yard. Where was the defense at, Baltimore? Where was it at? It wasn't showing up last night, that's for sure. The defense just did not show up last night. And Derrick Henry, this is the second week in a row where he's had a pretty subpar game. And then that fumble in the fourth quarter. What's going on with Derrick Henry? He has fumbled every game he's played this year. Now, don't get me wrong. I still think Derrick Henry is one of the elite running backs in the NFL. But he's had a case of the yips. And those yips have cost the Ravens games. It cost them in the first game against Buffalo. And it led the line, and the pump move he had in the fourth quarter led to another score for the Detroit Lions. What is wrong with him? He's got to take care of the ball. I don't know what he got to do. Stick him on his arms when he running, or what? Velcro it to his arm? Nah, that ain't gonna work. Or wrap it around with some gauze. Do something. You gotta hang on to that ball. I mean, what good are you running up through and everybody when you don't have the ball with you? That's all I'm saying. And that defense, that is that a defense prone to winning a Super Bowl? I don't think so. You can't let teams run for 200 plus yards on you, especially in your house, and expect to go to the Super Bowl. That's got to be tightened up. And the Ravens have always had a good defense, especially up front. They've always had a good defense. It was always hard. It's been always hard to run against that team. But last night, it wasn't hard at all for the Detroit Lions. 224 yards rushing, 4 touchdowns. Yeah, I mean, if the Ravens would have limited them to half of that and half the touchdowns, they probably would have won the game going away. I don't know what's going on with the Ravens. What is it, coaching? What is it, personnel? I don't know. But the Ravens got to tighten that up, and they got to tighten that up soon. They're 1-2 now. And the one win was against the Browns. And I believe, and Derrick Henry didn't do well in that game. I believe the only reason why the Ravens won that game pretty much going away is because the Browns turned the ball over. But they've lost 2 games to elite teams. To the elite in the NFL. The Detroit Lions in the first game against the Buffalo Bills. Okay, so where do we put the Ravens at in the hierarchy? Okay, we know they can beat inferior teams. We know that. But can they beat? They're having that problem they've always had. They've had for at least ever since Lamar Jackson's been the quarterback. They cannot beat the elite in the NFL. The Bills, the Chiefs. Now they couldn't beat the Detroit Lions at home. That's going to be a problem, and they need to settle up with real soon. They're not going to the Super Bowl with that defense. Not where they're playing. That defense needs to improve dramatically. You can't allow 200 yards rushing out. I don't care if it's at home or the road. You can't allow that to happen. And you expect to go to the Super Bowl? No. You ain't going nowhere. Now, when you let teams run over, run under, and through you like that, especially at home, it was amazing. I couldn't believe I'm seeing this. I'm like, Detroit is not playing. They come in. I didn't know. I didn't know which way this game was going to go because it was going back and forth. It's like which team can stop the other? Can either one stop the other? For 3 quarters, that's what it looked like. And then they ran away from them. And then the fumble. There you go. Ravens got some work to do. They do. I'm not going to count them out yet as far as the playoffs. No, I'm not going to do that. But if they want to go to the Super Bowl, if they got plans to go to the Super Bowl, they had better do something about that defense. And they better do something about it soon. Anyway, I think they will though. I think they will. I really do. But they didn't do it that well last night. 38-30 final score. Ravens fall to 1-2. And they got the Chiefs coming up in Kansas City. Oh boy. Another one of those teams they've had problems dealing with over the last few years. And they playing out in Kansas City. Now, it's not like the Chiefs have been the Chiefs that we know, with Patrick Mahomes flinging the ball all over the place and everything like. That's not been these Chiefs this year so far. So if the Ravens can tighten up on their defense a little bit, they can go out there and get a win. It's not like the Chiefs are the world beaters so far. They're 1-2. So it's not like the Chiefs are dominating. They're doing just enough. They like Sunday night, they did just enough to get a win on the road against the Giants. So it's not like they're that dominant team that has run the AFC for the past 3 years. So if the Ravens can just tighten up a little bit on the defense and learn how to tackle, they might just go out there and steal one. I don't know. But we'll get into my picks later on this week. Now, we're going to look at who I believe is this week's top 5 teams in the NFL after week 3. There's been some changes. The Packers was in it last week. They're going. Now, when you leave to Cleveland and you only score 10 points, you're not top 5. No, not this week. You ain't top 5 this week. Forget that. You are not a top 5 team this week. Maybe next week, but not this week. Well, anyway, here's my top 5 for this week. After week 3, after all games played in week 3, I got number 5. I didn't even think I had to think about this because there are a lot of good teams that could occupy this 5th spot, but I went with the Tampa Bay Bucks because they every one of their games they won. They're 3-0. You look at it and you look up. Oh my God, the Bucks are 3-0. Yes, they are. They're 3-0. Every one of their wins have come down to either the next to last play or the last play. They've won every game by single digits late. And I mean, either late or in overtime. But they found ways to win them. The first game against Atlanta, they found a way to win that one in Atlanta. Second game, they found a way to beat Houston right at the end of the game. And then yesterday was crazy. Had a field goal blocked and ran back for a touchdown. Baker Mayfield said, okay. Took them right back downfield and they kicked the game-winning field goal. You think Baker Mayfield might be in the conversation for MVP? He should be in the conversation right now. I'm not saying he is league MVP, but should get a little buzz about it. He's led them back to 3 wins the first 3 games, and they rightfully should be 1-2. At worst, 1-2. Yeah, really, they should be 0-3. But good teams, elite teams, learn how to win close games. And that's why I have the Bucks, number 5. They're learning how to win close games. And that can only help them down the rest of the season and maybe into the playoffs. When you've been there and you know what to do, it's no thing to you. It is no thing. So the Buccaneers winning these close games early in the season, it ain't gonna do nothing but help them later on in the season and into the playoffs. So I got them number 5 this week in my top 5. Number 4, the Detroit Lions. You can go into Baltimore and put up an offensive performance like they did last night. I know they lost the game. They lost the game to Green Bay first game. I'm gonna knock that up the first game jitters. Just trying to work it out. New offensive coordinator, new defensive coordinator. They still working things out. Last 2 weeks, they put up 90 points. 52 against the Bears. Last night, 38 on the road against the Baltimore Ravens. So it looks like they're working it out very well. I still have a few issues on defense, but with the way they're playing on offense, it's not like they got to shut the other team down. They don't even have to do that. All they got to do is hold them off. Stop them for like 2 or 3 possessions, and let the offense cook. And that's exactly what they're doing the last couple of games, averaging 45 points. And when that defense rounds out, Detroit's going to be right there like they were last year. They're going to be right there. You can go into Baltimore and put up 38 points and run for over 200 yards against that team. It's saying something. I don't know what it's saying, but it's saying something. This week, I got the Detroit Lions at 4. Number 3, the Los Angeles Chargers. Ladies and gentlemen, the Chargers are for real. 3-0, and all 3 are divisional wins. Kansas City, Raiders, and yesterday and Sunday against the Broncos. When you can start the season 3-0 against your own division, what can you say? And all three wins I know have been close. They've been by a single one possession, but they found a way to win. Like the Bucks, they found ways to win. And good teams, elite teams, playoff caliber teams, Super Bowl caliber teams know how to win those close games. That's what they do. It's what they're supposed to do. You win those close games at home or on the road. And that's what they've been doing. How they've been doing it, who the hell knows? I think I don't want to call it luck. I don't want to call it divine intervention. Who knows? Justin Herbert, though, ain't playing. He's taking that next step. If he can continue to improve, Chargers gonna be right there. They're already 2 games ahead of everybody else in the division. 2 games ahead of everybody else in the division. And gonna be an uphill climb for them other guys. Chargers are already in what they call the catbird seat. They're already sitting in the catbird seat. Anybody gonna be able to knock them off? Who knows? But I like Justin Hilbert. I like Jake. Oh, man, they look pretty good. I hate to say that because I can't stand Harbaugh. But this is about what I see, and I see the Chargers at my third team, number 3 in this week's top 5. Number 2, Buffalo Bills. They just keep doing what they're doing. They just keep winning. It don't matter who they playing against. They're just gonna keep winning. That's what the Bills do. And I don't see anybody in the division. I don't see anyone in the division giving them any problems. I don't. Not the Jets, not the Dolphins, not the Patriots. I don't see any of them giving any problems. They should win this division in their sleep. Only thing they should be chasing is the number 1 seed in the AFC. Can you imagine all these teams having to go to Orchard Park in the wintertime in January? They ain't in that new stadium yet, so the elements is still out there. They're still in that old Highmark Stadium where everybody's exposed to the elements. And I know what it's like up there in those states off Lake Erie in the wintertime. It ain't no joke. That lake effect snow come in and the cold and everything. Can you imagine any of these teams, especially any warm weather teams that are in the playoffs, having to go to Buffalo in January? Oh, I don't think they're looking forward to it. So somebody better start trying to knock this team off. If they don't want to have to travel to Buffalo come playoff time. Because I guarantee you, it ain't going to be like the way the Chiefs are looking, the way the Ravens are looking shaky on defense. You have to anoint the Bills as the front runner to make it to the Super Bowl from the AFC. You have to. I thought they would have problems defensively, especially after they played against Baltimore. But they took care of business in that game. So when they won that game, I didn't see anybody. I don't see another team beating them on their schedule right now. Oh, they might get picked up. They might get upset. But right now, the Bills are the Chiefs of the AFC. The Bills are the Chiefs of the AFC this year. So I got them at number 2 for this week. And the number one team is still the number one team, the defending Super Bowl champion, the Philadelphia Eagles. And I say you are the champs. You are number one until somebody beats you. The Rams had a chance. They had a golden opportunity to knock off the Eagles, and they blew it. They flat out blew it. Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown, uh, Barkley, they wasn't about to have that. I didn't think they were going to come back and win it when it was 26-7. I didn't think they were going to come back and win that game. I thought, oh, look at the Rams. Had the Rams won that game, they'd be in my top 5. But the Eagles do what the Eagles do. They find a way. They find a way. 4 of my 5 teams in my top 5 this week have found ways to win games. As a matter of fact, all of them have. But that's what you got to do in the NFL. Not every game is going to be a blowout. Everybody knows that. Most games in the NFL are going to come down to somewhere in the last half of the fourth quarter. Come down to what they call bewitching time. That's winning time. That's where games are won or lost, in the fourth quarter. Not the first or the second, the fourth quarter. That's where games are won and lost. Sometimes in overtime. But if you can hang in there and take care of business late in the games, odds are you're going to have a good chance to give yourself a win. And that's what the Eagles did. They came back, they hung in there, and they just kept plugging away till they took the lead. And then they made the play of the game when they blocked the game. What should have been the game-winning field goal try for the Rams. They blocked it, and big boy Jordan Davis, I loved it. Rumbling, bumbling, just running big boy style all the way back for a touchdown. I loved it. I love seeing that. But that's what champions do. They find a way. When it doesn't seem possible, they find a way. And that's what they did. They found a way. So I got the Eagles as my number one team this week after week 3 in my NFL top 5. Again, I'm glad you're listening and watching. And if you could, please hit that like and subscribe button if you like to hear what I'm talking about. Leave a comment. If you want to leave a comment, I'll look at your comments. If you think I'm right or wrong about something, let me know. I love the debate. I love to argue about it. Maybe you're right. Maybe you're wrong. But leave a comment anyway. I'll look at them. I'll say, okay, well, maybe you got a point. Or I'll say, hell no, he's wrong. But either way, like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Anyway, we're going to keep going, moving on. Now, we're going to talk about the other end of the NFL spectrum. The other end. The 0-3 team. The teams that have yet to win a game this season. As I counted, there are 5 teams that have currently no wins. 5 teams. Got the Jets, the Dolphins, the Tennessee Titans, Houston Texans, New York Giants. Oh, one more, the New Orleans Saints. So we got 6. So we have 6 teams currently 0-3. My question to you and to myself, do any one of these 0-3 teams have a realistic shot at making a run at a playoff spot? Let's examine that for each one of these teams. We're going to examine that. First, we look at the Jets. Now, the Jets are 0-3, but they haven't looked really bad being 0-3. Matter of fact, 2 of their 3 losses have been by single digits. Lost to the Steelers by what? 2 points? Lost yesterday to the Bucks by a point. So at the end, 2 of their 3 losses come down to the very end of the game, the last play, the field goal. So it's not like they look really, really terrible. They just can't close the deal. They should be 2-1 if they were able to close the deal. That's the Jets' problem. They can't finish. And that's why they're 0-3. They're probably the best looking 0-3 team of all the 0-3 teams because they're fighting. The Jets don't roll over and play dead. They've been fighting. Their problem is they can't finish the fight. Do I think they have a shot at making a run at the playoffs? Yeah, I do. If they can finish the fight. They got 2 winnable games coming up. Miami at home. Dallas with their putrid defense. No, the Miami game's on the road. The Dallas game's at home. And with their putrid defense, and now that CeeDee Lamb is hurt, they have a good chance of picking off the Cowboys. I mean, I think a Pee Wee League team, a good college football team, can pick off the Cowboys the way their defense is playing. And if you don't know what I'm saying, look at it. Look at any highlights. Look at the highlights from Sunday's game against the Bears. Come on now. Come on. Come on. It's amazing I'm not sitting here and talking about the Cowboys being 0-3 with that defense or lack thereof. They should be one of the teams I'm talking about here going 0-3. Fortunately for them, they pulled off a win at home. But their defense horrible. But I digress. The Jets do have a shot. They have winnable games all up and down the rest of their schedule. They have winnable games. Even the Ravens, with their lack of defense, wishy-washy defense, can be beat. You got Carolina. They got to go to Cincinnati with no Joe Burrow. Got Cleveland at home. They got Atlanta at home. Go to Jacksonville. They go to New Orleans. These are winnable games. These are winnable games. The only games I don't think they see them winning is down the stretch is probably the last game at Buffalo and probably Denver. So they got a chance. It's a bleak one. It's a slim one. It's a slim one. But they got it. I believe they have a chance if they can tighten up. They can just learn how to finish. That's their problem. They don't finish. If they can correct that little small minor detail, just finishing the game, they can turn their season around and they can turn it around real fast. But we'll have to see. But the Jets are not, like I said, they're 0-3, but they're not a terrible 0-3 team. They're just unlucky. 2 of their 3 losses by less than 2 points. 2 points or less. That's unlucky. Like, we've been there, we're in there, but we're not. Maybe their luck will turn around in future weeks. Like I said, they got to go to Miami, and that's a winnable game. Dallas, a winnable game. Denver, maybe. Carolina, that's winnable. At Cincinnati, that's the next 5 games. So they have a chance to turn it around. All those games are winnable. They're not playing dominant world beaters the next 5 games. They're playing teams that are average or worse. So they have a chance to pull out of this 0-3 and make a run. A serious run. Yes, I'm saying a serious run at the playoffs. Next, the Miami Dolphins. Nah, I don't see it. I just don't see it. They're so mixed up on offense. Tua Tagovailoa. What's going on with him? I mean, he's missing wide open receivers. He won't run anymore. It's not like he's getting great protection. Sometimes, and when he does get great protection, he misses his targets. And I'm saying, how can you miss Tyreek Hill wide open in the flat? How do you miss that? How do you miss Jalen Waddle wide open on the middle? On the middle, how do you miss him? And when I say he's missing him, I mean he's either throwing it behind him or he's airmailing him. Don't know. Hey, don't know. I don't know if he's. I don't know if benching him would be the solution, or and putting somebody else in, or changing the coach, Mike McDaniel. One of those two. I don't know if they can. I don't know if they coexisting together very well. They were a couple of years ago until he got hurt, and now it seems like Tua's tentative. He's tentative. He's scared to run. He's scared to do something that he used to do, that he used to do well. He's scared to do them now. I don't know if it's because of when he got hurt, but I don't know what it is. But if he don't get it right, I don't see the Dolphins winning too many games. It's not like they got the greatest defense. It's not like he don't have weapons either. He got plenty of weapons. He just needs to utilize them. And utilize them like he used to. It's just simple as that. He needs to turn it to Tua from 2 years ago. You need to find that guy and bring him back. Because if he don't bring him back, he's going to get benched. I know if I was the coach, I'm giving him one more game to get his head out of his ass. One. And if he don't, he's going on the bench for a while. And see if he enjoys the view from the bench. Hey, the Mike McDaniel, he seems like a decent coach. He was one of the great coaches a couple of years ago. He was innovative, creative. Offense was just dropping points like it was no thing. And then Tua gets hurt, and then what happened? Mike McDaniels needs to be the coach. He don't need to be nobody's friend. He needs to be the coach. If Tua ain't doing it, you need to go to somebody else. Period. Because his job's on the line. I believe if this keeps going, we gonna hear Mike McDaniel's name on ESPN and on Fox and CBS Sports and Yahoo saying he's been dismissed as head coach of the Miami Dolphins. And that could be pretty soon if he don't turn this around. He needs to be the coach. And tell Tua, hey, look, man, you can't be missing wide open targets like that. What's going on with you? Like I said, if I'm the coach of the Dolphins, you got one more week. One more game. And if you stink it up like this, you're going on the bench. You're going to sit down for a while. There's too much mess on offense. There's too much drama on the offense for me to believe they can make a serious run. I don't care what their schedule doesn't look aligned with them trying to make a serious run at pulling out of this, especially with the offense in flux the way it is. So I can't see the Dolphins making this any kind of serious run at a wild card spot this year in the playoffs. And that's unfortunate too, because a couple of years ago they were unstoppable until they got to the Chiefs. Then I don't know, Tua got hurt, and then boom. Yeah, I hope Tua can figure it out. He can be a damn good quarterback if he gets his head out his ass. I believe. And I've heard all the pundits saying, "Oh, Tua this, no, Tua got to do this and that." No, he just got to get his head out his ass. That's all. He just got to get his head out. I don't know if he needs to see one of those sports psychologists, psychiatrists, or something. But either way, he just needs to pull his head out of his point of contact and just start playing ball like he used to. If he get hurt, he get hurt. Unfortunate, but it happens. But he can't keep playing like he's scared of getting hurt. And that's what I think he's doing. He's playing like he's scared to get hurt. Then why the hell are you playing? If that's the case, you need to go sit down, talk to a shrink, talk to your mama, talk to a pastor, talk to somebody, and get that out your head. And work that stuff out quick. Because you are an NFL quarterback. You're going to get hit. You're going to be running for your life sometimes. It is what it is. If you're scared of that, you need to move aside and let somebody else who ain't scared give it a try. But I think that's the problem with Tua and the Dolphins. He's scared. He's playing scared. And you can't play scared in the NFL. Now, you won't last long. Well, As scared as he may play, I don't see the Dolphins doing anything. Starting the year 0-3, the schedule doesn't line up for them to do anything more than 2 or 3 wins. I hate to say that, but that's what it is. Next team that's 0-3 is the Houston Texans, and I can't figure them out. What is going on with CJ Stroud? What was it? A year ago, 2 years ago, he was rookie of the year. It was playing that ball all over the place. Sending Houston to the surprising playoffs. Not just the playoffs, they won the division a couple of years ago. Now it's like he's missing his targets. He's sitting too far. He's holding on to the ball too long and getting sacked. He won't run it. And when he does run it, he's getting nailed. It's like the line just. And Nick Chubb, I hate to say this about him, but he's not the Nick Chubb he was 2, 3, 4 years ago before he got hurt. He's not that dude no more. I hate to say because Nick Chubb is such a great guy. When he was with the Browns, you didn't hear people from him. The fans loved him. He can run the ball all over the field. He was tough. He was fast. He was smart. And you didn't hear nothing bad about him. Nothing. I thought the Browns kept him, but they couldn't. Or they didn't feel like keeping him. And Houston picked him up. And I'm thinking, wow, they got Nick Chubb. Boy, they're going to do something. But he's not that Nick Chubb no more. I don't know if he's lost that explosiveness that he had before he got hurt again. I don't know if it's that. I don't know if it's his run blocking is just terrible. But just something's not. He's not the Nick Chubb that I remember him being. And that's not helping CJ Stroud's passing game. He got weapons. There's no problem. He got weapons. It's just like he ain't hitting them. He's not hitting them. And the defense ain't doing much better anyway. It's like they're a middling team. And they were the favorites in the AFC South. They were the favorites to win that division in a walk. Now they're sitting here 0-3, and they got a lot of answers. They got a lot of answers they need to get. They got a lot of questions and some answers that need answering on both sides of the ball, offense and defense. It's like they can't put both together at the same time. They got a lot of questions they need to answer. Definitely. Do I see them making it? Yes. I know that 3 games behind the Colts in the AFC South, but I'm not gonna doubt CJ Stroud and the boys. I'm not gonna doubt them. I think they can make a run at a wild card spot. But they need to get on. They need to get on about business right now. They can't afford another loss. They cannot afford another loss. And they got Tennessee Titans at home. That should be a sure win. That should be a sure win. But we'll have to see. Which CJ Stroud are we going to see this Sunday? Are we going to see that Stroud that was just doing the thing for the last couple of years, or are we going to see CJ Stroud here the last couple of weeks? We cannot afford, and the Texans cannot afford to see the CJ Stroud the last couple of weeks. They need to see Rookie of the Year CJ Stroud. That's who they need to see. If they want any chance of turning this thing around and making a run at the playoffs, they need to see that CJ Stroud like now. We'll see if we see him. Next 0-3 team that we're going to discuss is the Tennessee Titans. Poor Cam Ward. That's all I can say about him. Poor Cam Ward. He tries. He tries. He tries his butt off. You can't deny that. He tries. He just ain't got no help. He got no line. He got no receivers. He got no running back. He got nothing. Every time they make a good play, either a penalty happens or he fumbles. He trying. He trying. But he just ain't got no help. The Titans are a rebuilding team. There's no question about that. They're rebuilding. I think they're trying to get their team rebuilding little by little for when they open their new the new football stadium either next year or the year after next. But they're rebuilding. It's simple as that. I don't see the Titans doing anything. They might win, make 2 or 3 games, but I don't see the Titans even making any kind of run at a playoff spot. They just got no help for Cam Ward. And like I said in the previous stream, quarterback, they drafted #1. So there's 2 checks you got to pay. Quarterback, that's the mortgage. Now you got to pay the insurance. That's the line. Especially left tackle and left guard. You pay 1 check for the mortgage, where the insurance at? I don't care what insurance you get. Geico, Allstate, State Farm, Prudential, that emu, libbity bibbity, whoever. You better get some insurance, or you're gonna kill your QB. You gotta get some insurance. They got to get the line fixed, and you gotta get them a running back. Because what they got ain't getting it. Just not getting it. No, sir. But I don't see them doing anything. Schedule be damned. I don't see the Titans winning more than 3 games, maybe 4. But I don't see them making any serious run at the playoff spot. So far, only team I see making a serious run is the Jets and maybe the Texans if we get the CJ Stroud we see 2 years ago. Next is the New York Giants. Simple. They got to bench Russell Wilson. I know he had that big time performance against the Cowboys, but I think a high school player can throw for 400 yards against the Cowboys defense. Really. I think a really good high school quarterback with the proper weapons at wide receiver and running back. I think a good high school quarterback can throw for 400 yards against that defense. So we can count that out. Russell Wilson is not the Russell Wilson anymore. It's plain and simple as that. I think it's time for the Giants. They're 0-3. So what the hell they got to lose? They might as well give Jackson Dart a run. Let's see what the rookie can do. Well, who knows? He might just turn the season around. Oh no, but it's time for Russell Wilson to sit the bench. He making errant throws. He holding the ball too long. He's not running. He's not when he runs. It don't look right. He's taking numerous hits. The offense looks disjointed with him out there. He's throwing the ball deep all the time, and for what? Why are you throwing it deep in double coverage? You ain't that Russell Wilson no more. Somebody need to tell him that. I don't know if it's the coach. I don't know if it's his quarterback coach. I don't know if it's his wife. But somebody needs to tell him he's not that guy no more. He used to be, but he ain't no more. And if I was the coach of the Giants, he's on the bench for a couple of weeks. I got to put this rookie in and see what I got. Let's face it, Wilson is on the down edge. I hate to say that about a really good quarterback who was a Super Bowl champion. But he is not that guy no more. That's why Pittsburgh got rid of him. He is not that guy. He used to be, but he ain't. And somebody need to tell him, quit throwing it downfield in double coverage, man. If it ain't there, what's wrong with dinking and dunking? Check down. Throwing it out of the backfield. Screen passes. Throwing it in the flat. What's wrong with that? You taking shots deep in double coverage. Yeah, I know you got Malik Neighbors, but damn, do you have anybody else? No. Take what the defense gives you, and I'm pretty sure the defense is not going to give you 50-yard bombs deep in double coverage. No. That's stupid. He's playing stupid, really. And if I was knowing, he'd be seeing the bench. I'm going to put my rookie in, Jackson Dart. Let me see what this young man can do for me. But until they do that, I think Until the Giants make that kind of a change. I know it's a big change, but until they make that change, Giants ain't going nowhere. They ain't going nowhere. They are not going anywhere. You know how many points they forget the Cowboys game. When they had a 30-something point explosion. Like I said, a high school quarterback could score 30 points against that Dallas Cowboys putrid defense. Against Washington, 6 points. Sunday night against the Chiefs, who don't have the world beater of a defense, 9 points at home. So taking away the Cowboys, the explosion they had against the Cowboys, they scored 15 points. 15 points. And I thought the Browns' defense was putrid. Scoring more than that in two of the 3 games. Not too much more. Scoring, yeah. They need to make that change at quarterback. That's how I see it. They need to make that change at quarterback. I know they may not want to. They need to. Or they going nowhere. They're going nowhere. They're definitely not making a run for the playoffs. Not until they make that change. Next 0-3 team, and I believe the last 0-3 team to talk about, the New Orleans Saints. They're a mess. Period. They're a mess. They are a complete mess. They're rebuilding. You can tell that. I mean, they've given up what? Average of what? Almost 30 points a game, something like that. Seattle torched them for 44 points. I mean, the first 2 games, the Saints were in them. They were in them against Arizona and against the 49ers. They were in those games. Couldn't find a way to win. That's because they're a mess on defense. They're just a mess. They don't know how to hold leads. And when they do get a lead, they instantly give it back up. Instantly. Like instant oatmeal. 5 minutes to give it back up. Saints are a mess. Just no other way around it. I feel sorry for Alvin Kamara and Chris Olave. They're 2 great players, especially Kamara. He's a great player. Olave, if he can stay healthy, he can be a great wide receiver if he can stay healthy. But Spencer Rattler, I don't know if he's the answer at quarterback. I don't know. But it's like he's tentative to throw the ball intermediate. He's tentative with that. In the few plays I've seen, he's very tentative. He's either going to be tentative with it, or if he does throw it, it becomes an interception or a fumble. Saints got a lot of things to figure out. Until then, I don't think they have a shot of making hay towards the playoffs. And they're playing a pretty weak division. You got Tampa Bay and then Carolina, Atlanta, and New Orleans. They're all scrambling for second place. But I don't see the Saints doing anything as far as winning or getting a playoff spot or even being a 500 team, respectable 500 team. It's just too discombobulated on defense and offense. But they're rebuilding, so you can't expect much from them. But maybe they can turn around. Spencer Rattler, who knows? Maybe they can. I don't see it though. So those are the 6 teams that are currently 0-3, and those are my takes on who could make a decent or even a significantly slight run at a postseason berth. Only 2 of them, the Jets and the Texans. The other ones, they got problems. They got too many problems to overcome. The Jets, if they can finish, if they can learn how to finish, they can make a realistic run. Their schedule sets up for them to make a somewhat of a run towards a wild card spot. But they got to learn how to finish. The Houston Texans, they got a schedule that can line them up for a playoff run if CJ Stroud turns into that dude again. But that's what we need to see. We need to see him turn into that dude. Only time will tell. This is the Big O at the Total Sports Ozone. And again, like and subscribe if you like what you're hearing. If you don't like what you're hearing, if you don't agree, you saying, "Oh, you full of crap." Please comment, like, subscribe, comment. I'll read all your comments, and if I think you're right, you're right. If I think you're wrong, I'm gonna let you know. But anyway, I welcome your comments. Okay, let's talk about hmm, what's going on with Dallas. I mean, why are they offense? The offense is great, but now they got to deal with CD Lamb being out, and then that defense. I have I've never seen Dallas's defense look that bad after 3 games. I mean, it's like, are you kidding me? Defense. And Jerry Jones has the right to say, when they asked him after the game Sunday, do the Cowboys look like a playoff team? He's like, yeah, they do. In what realm? I'm thinking, in what realm? In one of the realms in Thor? What? One of the 5 realms in Thor? In the area in the Game of Thrones area? What? In what realm of reality do the Cowboys look like a playoff team with that defense? I mean, that defense is horrible. It's like hot garbage on a January day outside, and you can still smell it. Now, you ain't supposed to be able to smell hot garbage in cold weather, but I bet you can with the Cowboys. I mean, they couldn't stop a cold if they had Tylenol and NyQuil. They terrible. The Chicago Bears. Caleb Williams had like a career day. He's doing flea flickers, offhanded flea flickers against you. Really? And why is he having this all day? Because he had all day to throw it. He had all day. He's sitting back in the pocket. He probably calling his girlfriend. Hey, baby, how you doing? Probably ordering Uber Eats, DoorDash. Checking his bank account. Oh, man, did I pay for that? Yeah. He had all day to throw the damn ball. No pass rush. I wonder why he ain't got a pass rush, Jerry Jones. I wonder why. What happened to that pass rush? I forgot. I forgot what happened to that pass rush. Maybe it'll come to me. I don't know. Oh, yeah. You dumbass traded Michael Parsons. When you knew you had nobody to fill them shoes. Yeah, by the way, you got to play him and the Packers next Sunday at home. I bet a lot of people are looking forward to that one, especially Michael Parsons. You know he's gonna try to show you and your team up in your house. I don't know what you got to do, Matt. I don't know, but now with CD being out for 3 to 4 weeks, that puts way more pressure on Dak Prescott to deliver. And I just don't think he got that in him to deliver. They got a good offense. If everybody's healthy, they can score points. Sunday notwithstanding, they got a good offense. They got an offense enough to score points. They have no defense whatsoever. And I don't see it. I don't see the pot at the end of the rainbow. I don't want to hear about draft picks. I don't want to hear about this guy Clark they got. I don't want to hear about none of that. You had problems stopping the run last year. Oh, now you can stop the run a little bit this year, but now it's an air raid against your defense. Everybody going deep. Everybody going deep or intermediate. And the Cowboys can't do a damn thing to stop it. Not a thing. Receivers going by the cornerbacks and the safeties like they standing still. Is there a way out of this? I doubt it. I seriously doubt it. But they better figure it out. The defense is horrible. Well, no. I keep saying, and I'll say it again, and I'll say it again. The problem with the Dallas Cowboys, it ain't coach, it ain't that. It's Jerry Jones. He put this team together. It's his team. He needs to give up being general manager. He just needs to be the owner now. Sign the checks, sit up in that owner's booth, root your team on, and make that money. Win or lose, the Cowboys make money. That's what he needs to do now. Just sit up there and be an owner. Because him as a general manager, I think the game has passed him by. And I said this before, I'll say it again. Somebody prove me wrong. If he was just the general manager of the Cowboys or any team for that matter, he would have been fired 10 at the very least 10 years ago. More likely 15 years ago. He would have been fired. Because he can't put together a team on both offense and defense that can really say they are Super Bowl contenders. He hasn't done that in 30 years. Oh yeah, he's had playoff teams, but they're not good enough when they get into playoffs. They might win one game and then and this all goes back to the general manager. First off, he won't hire a legitimate head coach. He hires a bunch of yes men. That's who he's hired. A bunch of yes men. Yes sir, yes sir, yes sir, yes sir, yes sir, yes sir. He won't hire somebody who knows how to coach. Can you imagine if Bill Belichick was the coach of the Cowboys? Man, that's just too much ego in one room. That's too much ego for the state of Texas. Those two men running the Cowboys, oh, that would be too much ego. But that's what they need. They need a coach like Belichick or Mike Tomlin. You know, somebody who got a rep that ain't gonna take no joke. That's what they need. I don't know when it's gonna happen, but I don't know where Jerry Jones thinking. We're we are a playoff team. No, the hell you're not. You can ask your fans. You can ask your fans. You can ask anybody in Dallas Fort Worth area that's a Cowboys fan. No, you're not. You don't have the defense to be a playoff caliber team, and you know it. You see it out there on the field. You know their defense is one of the worst in the league. And if they keep up at this pace, it could be an historically bad defense. I want to believe they can turn it around on defense. They have to show it to me, though. And right now, they ain't showing me nothing. But maybe a good college team could kick that defense's ass all over the field. That's how bad it is. I don't know. I hope they got the answers. I guess we'll find out sooner or later, right? Well, it's time for me to get out of here. Leave the ozone for the day, but I'll be back at you tomorrow, same time. Again, I will have this stream posted on my channel under the live banner, so you can see it, replay it, and see it again if you want to. I also have an audio stream on this on my Spotify. On Spotify, so you can hear the audio version of this show every day. Okay? But I'll be back at you tomorrow. Same time, same place. See ya.